Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. In today's video, I'll be sharing 15 things I wish I knew before attending college. I recently graduated college and it was a great experience. However, had I known certain things, it might have made it even better. Whether that was preventing certain mistakes or being more involved in my school community and even putting less pressure on myself so I can really enjoy it more. Let's start with number one. I wish I knew I didn't have to love every class or maybe even like it. During my second year, I really struggled with this because I was taking certain classes. I'm like, oh my God, I don't love this class. It got to the point where I knew I was going to stick with a major. I was already 2 years in. There was no way I was switching majors. But I was always questioning, did I make the right decision picking this major? Because some classes I just didn't enjoy. I later came to find out it was okay. As long as you put your best into every single class, you respect the professor, you respect the subject. If you're taking an average of 6 classes per semester, and that's 12 classes per year for 4 years, you're not gonna love every single class. Be curious, be interested, respect the subject, and do your best. Another thing I wish I knew was how expensive college was and how to properly navigate the financial aid system and scholarship to ensure that I was not under stress. After graduating from high school and moving on to college, I knew college was expensive, but I don't think I really grasped the magnitude of how expensive it is. I saw it on the paper, but I think like today I understand it more than I ever did. You don't need to take out loans. There are so many other ways you can find to pay for your education, because I knew that if I didn't have money and I was short one semester, I would be put on financial hold and then I may not be able to complete the semester. So I learned how to navigate the scholarship system. If you want to learn more, watch my debt-free college video, which would go more into detail on how to graduate college debt-free. What I wish I knew, number 3, which is cost goes up every single year. I wasn't really thinking about this when I went to college, but the cost goes up every year, and that's tuition, fees, and many other things. If you have money set aside for college, know that what you paid last year will probably not be what you paid this year and next year. But factor that in, and that would just make it more manageable for you. Number 4 is I wish I knew switching majors was not as easy as some people make it seem. When you hear a lot of people talk about college, they always think about exploring different majors, transfer to another major if you don't like it. It really isn't that easy, because some programs are limited programs, which means that they take in a limited amount of students per year. So if you want to get into that major, you're gonna have to compete to get in and apply to get into practically any major, and they have to accept you, and you can be denied even if you're already attending that school. Some programs will also not take your credits. For example, let's say you switch from sociology, you're in your second year and you want to switch to become an engineer. Most of your sociology credits probably wouldn't transfer because they're not needed for an engineering degree. You may be able to transfer that one sociology class as an elective and maybe a couple others if it's like in the scheme of engineering, but all of your other classes may not even transfer. It could be something as simple as you took an English class for your sociology major, but in engineering, they don't require an English class, they require a writing class. And switching from a sociology major to an engineering major may not be as simple as going and applying and then you're accepted. They could actually to take maybe you Calc 1, 2, and 3 if you've not already, maybe even take Physics 1 and 2 and something else in order to be admitted into the college. I didn't have to go through this, but during that semester when I was really questioning why I chose electrical engineering, I was finding like, okay, can I switch my major? The only other major I could have really switched to and had a lot of my credits transferred to was computer engineering, and that was basically like electrical engineering. We were very close in my school, so I was gonna take practically the same classes anyway. Moving into number 5 is I wish I knew classes were worth differently. In high school, we have AP classes, and AP classes are typically worth more than your regular classes. The difference is that if you get a B in an AP class, it's boosted like an A because it's worth more credits. Well, that's not how it works in college. There are classes that are way different. So you have like 1 credit classes, 2, 3, 4 credit classes. When you get a B in a 4 credit class, it's not like an A in a 3 credit class, almost like getting a C in a 3 credit class, because it's gonna drop your GPA so much. I remember going through this for the first time a few semesters into my college education and getting 1B in a 4-credit class and then dropping my GPA significantly. I didn't know that I should probably prioritize my 4-credit classes over my other credit classes. And I'm not saying don't pay attention to the other classes. They're all important. But if you have to study for a 1-credit class versus a 4-credit class, I would always say do for the 4-credit class, because that 1-credit class, if you get a B in it, you might drop your GPA from a 4.0 to maybe a 3.95 or a 3.9. That 4-credit class, if you get a B in it, your GPA is going to like a 3.7. Make sure that you are prioritizing that classes, knowing which classes weigh more and getting the best grades you can. It would be nice if you can get an A in every single class, every single semester. But for some people, that's not always realistic, and that's okay. The next one is that every class is assessed differently. So professors determine the grading policy and it's approved by the department. I had classes that literally had no homework at all, and the entire grade were exams and finals. And I had other classes that had quizzes, homeworks, midterms, and finals. It just depends on the professor and what they're trying to do. Some even give you pop quizzes. Some have projects. The weighing of exams versus final, homework, even attendance. So you just want to make sure that you are understanding how each class is assessed and using it as a way to benefit your grade. Number 7 of what I wish I knew was that different classes require different learning styles. This is something you learn in high school, but not always. I think there was a point in high school where like Cornell notes became a thing. Does anybody remember that? Like, did anybody else have that at their high school? And in high school, a lot of times you're encouraged to learn a certain way. When you get into college, you have more free reign on how you study. Some classes require you going to library, study with a TA, study in a group, go into office hours. Find out how it works best for you. There were some classes I was literally going to office hours so much, but always use your resources and do your best. Number 8 of what I wish I knew was that attendance can be required in college. There is this myth that once you get to college, like you don't have to go to class. And I guess you don't have to go to class, but sometimes attendance is included in your grade. So if you want a good grade, you better get to class, because some professors can make it a significant chunk of your grade, and that's like 5 to 10%. And that may seem kind of small, but that's the difference between getting an A and a B, or a B and a C, and a C and a D. If attendance is included in class, always go. You're in school for one reason, and that's to learn. This whole paying for college and not attending class, I don't agree. There are also professors who give pop quizzes. Some professors do that to ensure that students do come to class. Number 9 of what I wish I knew was that most classes will not be graded on a curve. I guess some majors, like, people grade on a curve. It's like, which students did the best and the worst. It's graded from the students who got the highest. And it happens. Like, I've had a few professors who, had a curve in a class where the information is very dense and critical. An A might be from like an 85 to 100, and a B might be 75 to 85. So there's more leeway. I don't think I've ever had a professor who was grading strictly off of the highest score in the class. If you go to a school that grades on a curve, like, good for you, but don't expect that in college. Number 10 of what I wish I knew was that going into college as an undecided student is really not a good advice for most people. You can miss out on several scholarships, and you'll be taking classes that are in several majors that may not even go towards your scheme. Let's say you spend a year being undecided. That entire year, you might be taking classes that will not go towards your degree. I know that many students going into college are like 17, 18, 19 years old. I was 17 years old. It's really hard to make a big life decision like that at such a young age. I would really implore that you do research and try to find a major that best fits you. Because if you're spending an entire year or even 2 years to find yourself and spending $50,000 a year, well, that's a lot of money to be wasting. Let's say after 2 years, you decide, I want to become an engineer. Apply into the engineering school and you accept it. More likely than not, you're not going to be able to finish your degree in the next 2 years. You're going to spend 3, maybe even 4 more years finishing that degree. Definitely spend free time during summers and during your time in high school to ask yourself questions like, what do I want to be? Take different classes, maybe talk to an engineer, a doctor, different people. Assess your abilities as well and make that decision. And I'm not saying it is bad to go into college as undecided. That option might just be very costly. for most people. Number 11 of what I wish I knew is that AP classes probably won't be accepted even if you get a really good score. Some schools will take that as your ability to learn and a good experience for you, and they will not take it. Sometimes it just doesn't fit into your degree field. For example, taking a class like AP US History. It was a really good learning experience. However, it was not in my degree field. So yes, I took that class, but it doesn't mean it's going to be transferred, even if you get a perfect score. You already know what major you want to pursue when you get to college, and even what college you want to pursue. You can take a degree scheme and go through and see what classes are required. But I took psychology as a dual enrollment class, and when I transferred it transferred, but it was considered a natural science, not a social science, and my degree required that I take a social science. So me taking that class, well, didn't really help me much in my degree. I mean, I learned a lot, but my point is it didn't contribute towards me getting my degree. But going into number 12 is that dual enrollment classes can help a lot. I know I said my psychology did not really impact my degree. However, it did transfer, and it was a good learning experience. Taking a lot of classes for dual enrollment while you're still in high school will allow you to lessen your load each semester in college, at least for a while. Instead of taking 15 credits, you can take 12. This will mean that you have more time to spend on each class and get a better grade. This is also the opportunity you can take if you're undecided to figure out what you like. Dual enrollment classes cost significantly less than going to a four-year university and make a decision so you can apply to school as a decided student. Number 13, I wish I knew transfer credits may be redundant. Like my psychology credit, had I done my research and figured out that it was a natural science, not a social science, I might have had the opportunity to take a social science like sociology, so I wouldn't have to do it in college. Like, I'm still glad I did it in college, but you know, if I didn't want to, I at least had that option. 30 credits in dual enrollment doesn't mean the college is going to take all of them. So make sure you're researching it and you're taking credits that will go towards your degree field. And it doesn't mean you can't take classes that you enjoy, but don't be taking random classes and think they're all going to transfer. Number 14 is something I really wish I knew, which is that you can't take classes whenever you want. It's something people always talk about in college, like, oh, you can take morning classes or afternoon, evening classes, whichever one best fits you. People also tell you, oh, avoid those morning classes, those 8 a.m. classes, don't take them. Sometimes you really can't afford it. The class is only offered at 8 a.m. Sometimes it's only offered once a year with one professor. This is especially true when you are in a smaller program or a limited program. And if your department is small, it means that they're going to offer classes once. This is already noticeable when I was taking Calc 1. In Calc 1, they offer like 5 different time slots. But in Calc 2, it went down to 4. And by Calc 3, there was only 3 different time slots. And let me tell you, sometimes because you have other classes, they block each other. I had only one option to take for calculus. And once I reached my 4th semester in college, I had 0 time options. Classes were offered one time by one professor once a year. You either take it or you have to wait for the next year. And I guarantee you 99.9% of the time is going to be the exact same class again by the exact same professor at the exact same time. I have had several 8 a.m. classes, and believe me, only one was my choice. All the others, I had to be there. There were also semesters where I had my first class at 8 a.m. and my last class ended at 6:30 or 7:30. But that was because I had no option. Those were the classes that were offered, and that's what I had to do. And number 15 of what I wish I knew was, I wish I knew to enjoy myself more at college. And not like go to parties. I think I was like so sticky in my first year, like all I did was like study. A college is not just for education. I mean, that's the primary purpose you went there for, so definitely focus on that. But there are also so many other resources like student organizations, different resources to enhance your learning. They have information sessions, travel abroad programs, talk to people around the school, your professors, and you will see so many opportunities that are available to you. Even research opportunities, internship opportunities. College is just not for straight textbook learning. It's for you to get hands-on experience, be a well-rounded person. And with that, I am concluding. These are things I didn't know, but hopefully it can help somebody out there who is about to go to college. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will get a notification every time I post a new video. And let me know in the comment section, what do you wish you knew before you started college? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!